thinks the negotiation stuff is pretty much a ruse. I think he's right. At this point, they could certainly reach a negotiation. They could agree on something maybe because Trump is so flitty, right? He flits, la la la, right? So anything's possible, but I don't know. Blossom Ride? That sounds a little gay, but I'm happy to pick it as the gift on TikTok. Let's see. It's new, it's different. Let's try it. All right. I just checked actually. Well, it's hard to know how many troops we're up to, believe it or not, because, there we go, TikTok's going live now. It's not clear how many troops we're up to. There were 50,000 troops in the area already. We moved an additional 7,000 and now we're moving an additional 10,000. The only thing is, I haven't gotten a straight answer on, hey, everybody on TikTok, we're already talking. I haven't gotten a straight answer on how many of the 50,000 were already there like forever and how many were the buildup of the last several months. I don't know. So I don't know. Anyway, hello, TikTok. Welcome, everybody. John Irvosis here. It's Friday, March 27th. Hello, all. How we doing? Hello, 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 hello. It's cold again for a couple days. I didn't think I was going to wear I didn't think I was going to wear my sweater again, and suddenly it got cold again. So my ski sweater comes out for one more day. Maybe, well, tomorrow we're not. Well, tomorrow we have our hangout, but I think the sweater is finally getting put away after today. We'll see. But it got cold again in Washington, unfortunately. So what do you do? Anyway, so welcome everybody. John Irvosis here. Here's our show, Irvosis Report. We're going to talk about the latest news. We're going to talk about, Iran. It is the news. It's what we're going to talk about tonight. Just a quick reminder, this weekend I'm going to talk about that next, actually. Whoever posted that. Who was that, Dave? Yep. This weekend, two things going on. One is the No Kings protests. I'm not sure what's happening in Washington because it's a little complicated here because we have the Cherry Blossom Festival. So there are going to be tens of thousands of tourists swarming the city, if not more, this weekend because they're at their peak. So I think for No Kings, it's going to be a bit complicated. But anyway, I'm going to see what I can find out tomorrow about that or later tonight. Otherwise, tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, I am doing my coffee talk. That's the hangout I do on weekends for all the paid subscribers. So all the super fans on TikTok, YouTube's members or whatever they call them, Substack, you guys the paid members, Discord as well, the paid members. Anyway, let's get rolling, guys. A lot of news. Oh my God, there's just so much news. Oh yeah, good. The AI is still, give them a shout out. The AI on TikTok is back. It's back. The crazy AI. Oh, Finland. Very cool, Selka. That's very neat. Don't necessarily hear from a lot of Finns, but good to hear from you. So welcome, guys. Yeah, let's get rolling on the Iran stuff. There's a ton of news. It's all over the place. It really is. We're going to talk about the TSA stuff at the end as well, but it's kind of all over the place. But let's get rolling. Wall Street Journal, breaking. The Pentagon is looking at sending up to 10,000 additional ground troops to the Middle East to give President Trump more military options as he weighs peace talks. That is scary. Honestly, they're preparing for a ground invasion. I mean, that's what's going on. I was saying earlier, Preston Stewart was talking about the same thing. He's convinced they're preparing for a ground invasion. I'm convinced they're preparing for a ground invasion. Is it just taking Karg Island? Is it taking other islands? Is it having to invade the coastline of Iran? Maybe. The big concern, and actually even Rubio got at this today, the big concern everyone's got now is, actually Ian Bremmer was talking about it, a lot of the security experts, is what happens next? Like, how do we get out of this war, right? We can't leave and have Iran not open the Strait of Hormuz. But it's not clear we can make Iran open the Strait of Hormuz, is the first problem, even by invading. And even if we were able to, have a land invasion, I'm putting my light a little stronger here, a land invasion and take back the Strait of Hormuz, once we leave, Iran would close it again. So how do we win this war? To win this war, we would literally need regime change. And even then, that's not enough. It has to be regime change where Iran's government is overthrown and good guys take over. Good freaking luck with that. I don't think that's going to happen. This is a cluster F, as we've been saying, and it's getting worse. And you're starting to hear them talk about more about this getting worse. I think the negotiations are a scam. I don't think they're really taking place. We've been having, since last Monday, the Iranians have been saying, remember Trump called off the bombing of the electrical facilities because the negotiations are going so well. And the Iranians said, no, they're not. We don't know what he's talking about. He's lying about that. He lies about, as you know, pretty much everything, right? I mean, you shouldn't trust Trump. You shouldn't trust anything Trump says. The sad part people have been saying with this war is a lot of us have been forced to look to the Iranians to find the truth, which is just an unfathomable concept that we're literally looking for the Iranian government to tell us what's actually going on in the negotiations, like normally we would trust them. But I don't trust them, but Trump? Zero that this man says do I believe. We got more on that later, too. Bloomberg says that the Trump administration is signaling to allies that it has no immediate plans for a ground invasion. I love that quote. Trump's people are telling the allies they have no immediate plans for a ground invasion. Immediate would be the first hedge word, right? Oh, so there's no plans for today for a ground invasion. Are there plans for tomorrow? Right. A ground invasion. I've already seen this come about, that some of the people are arguing, well, an invasion of the islands of Iran would not be a ground invasion. That would be an island invasion. It's only a ground invasion if we invade the Iranian mainland. So they're playing games with that. An invasion is another word. Is it an invasion if you take just a little bit of an Iranian beach? Is that an invasion? Or is it invasion when you send 10,000 troops? You get it? Nothing. And the final point I would say as well is, or two final points. One, Trump administration, pathological liars. Yeah, they've told, okay, you guys in Europe, for example, and you Canadians, because that's who they're talking about. Trump administration told the allies that there was no imminent plans for a ground invasion, no immediate plans. Do you really think they'd tell you the truth? Really? Right? I mean, maybe, but is there just an equal chance that they're lying to you? Yeah. So that's the other problem you've got, right? Like, I mean, right? Like, would Trump tell you the truth that he was planning an invasion? Especially when he thinks that you're not on board. I mean, you're not on board. Especially when he says you're not on board. I don't think he would tell you the truth. CNN's Zach Cohen. The Strait of Hormuz is a major problem for Trump. This is from CNN's guy. And multiple sources say there is not a military option that, even if tactically successful, likely results in the Strait of Hormuz immediately being reopened, per multiple current and former U.S. officials, and perhaps most importantly, sources in the oil shipping industry. The experts are telling CNN, even if this invasion is successful, whatever they're planning, the experts don't think it's going to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Thank you, Mel. The Strait of Hormuz stuff, actually, I'm going to tell you, further on down, I'm going to tell you what that means, because CNN is also being told by the oil experts that this oil, I'll tell you right now, this oil stuff, this oil crisis is about to explode. Basically, the oil experts are saying that Trump has successfully fooled the stock market up until this week. Now the stock market's going down. It went down again today. Not good stuff. Oil's going back up again. Oil went up 5-6% again today. Not good stuff. Gasoline was actually flat today, surprisingly. I mean, it didn't go down, but it didn't go up. Stayed at $3.99 a gallon on average. But the concern for the oil industry, folks, is that we're in, and let me read you this, actually. This was further on down in my notes, but I'll read it to you right now. A senior oil shipping broker tells CNN's Zachary Cohen, oh, thank you, Gene. Love the helmet. Appreciate that. A senior oil shipping broker tells CNN's Zachary Cohen that the oil market is only a few weeks away from a full-blown crisis. Timeline is 2 to 3 weeks before crisis, one senior oil shipping broker said to me yesterday. This is Zachary Cohen of CNN. Current oil pricing is based on a lot of vibes, factoring in the belief that Trump will end the conflict soon, doesn't want a prolonged war. But supply isn't meeting demand per this broker, and that will overtake trader sentiment in a matter of weeks, barring an end to the conflict. Basically saying, we've gotten lucky so far that we're in an oil crisis. There isn't enough supply. But because everyone's believing Trump, and they're crazy to believe Trump, but they're believing Trump. They keep thinking, oh yeah, he's trying to end this war. He doesn't want a ground invasion, right? So that the oil brokers, the oil industry, or the oil sales, right, the oil market has been relatively calm. I mean, it's doubled, by the way. The price of oil doubled, so it's not exactly calm. But it would have gotten much worse if they understood that Trump was basically bullshitting them. And what I worry about is we're finally getting to the point now that I think people in the traders are finally starting to appreciate that Trump is bullshitting them. Let me go back here. Secretary Rubio, this is from Rubio. U.S. Secretary, this is actually Financial Times. Financial Times. U.S. Secretary Rubio told the G7 countries, our top allies, that the U.S. is not expecting the Strait of Hormuz to reopen to traffic as usual by the end of the war. Even Rubio told our allies, we're not expecting the Strait of Hormuz to be reopened, even if we win. That's like horrific. Quote, after this thing ends, one of the immediate challenges we're going to face is an Iran that may decide that they want to set up a tolling system in the Strait of Hormuz. Well, Financial Times notes something. The fact that Rubio said that, there have been stories for days about this. Remember, the number was 2 million. It ended up, it is $2 million, but it is in yuan, or yuan, however you want to pronounce it, the Chinese currency, or yuan. The Iranians are already, they've only let a few ships go through. They're charging them a toll of $2 million a ship, and they're making them pay it in Chinese currency. Thank you. Oh, that's it. Thank you, 16. I was wondering, that gift is a little gay. I was wondering what that gift was. Thank you. It's cute, but it is a little girly. I thought it was girly, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to pick it anyway. Thank you for that. That was very sweet of you. Thank you. Yeah. So Rubio's saying, it's possible the Iranians, when the war is over, they could start charging tolls. The Iranians started charging tolls earlier this week, and Rubio, for some reason, didn't know. I mean, I'm laughing, but it's not funny. Reuters, the United States can only determine with certainty that it has destroyed about a third of Iran's vast missile arsenal. Remember how Trump, he fucking lied. He fucking lied. Trump has been saying everything's obliterated for a couple weeks now. He specifically said we obliterated Iran's missiles and they were gone, mostly gone. I mean, they've been blowing up Israel. There actually was a horrific one on Israel, I think, last weekend. We have only determined that we've hit 1/3 of Iran's missiles. Trump has been saying that we obliterated Iran's missiles and they're gone. We only know that we've hit 1/3. Now, maybe we've obliterated their missiles. We don't know that. We only know that we've obliterated 1/3 of Iran's missiles, and Trump has been running around lying to us, saying that we obliterated everything. Again, this is a really good way to get our troops killed, because he's fighting this war, and the people around him are fighting this war as some rah-rah cheerleader campaign. They're afraid to tell him the truth. We learned that yesterday, that they didn't even tell him that 5 of our airplanes got hit when a military base was attacked, because Trump gets angry. He doesn't react well when you give him bad news, so they've been giving him good war news. So every day, Trump is deciding as commander-in-chief what we do with this war based on the fake news they're giving him about how the war is going. Yeah, nothing dangerous about having our troops fight a war like that. But again, Trump, one second here. Oh yeah, this story. MS Now reports, Trump is reportedly getting bored with Iran and wants to move on to other issues. Trump, according to his staff, Trump just wants to declare victory and move on because he's bored. He's bored. He's deciding what we do with the war next based on his boredom. Not based on how the war's going, not based on national security, not based on whether we're meeting our goals. Trump is deciding war strategy based on the fact that his attention span is like that of a 2-year-old, and he's bored now. As part of his moving on thing, Trump claimed today that the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, or in the last day, doesn't affect us. Listen to this, quote, the amazing thing is we don't need the Hormuz Strait. It's the Strait of Hormuz, the Hormuz Strait, whatever. We don't need the Hormuz Strait. We don't need it. We don't need it at all. We have so much oil. Our country is not affected by this. Price of oil's doubled since he invaded Iran. That's because they shut off the Strait of Hormuz, which is 20% of the world's oil, 20% of the world's natural gas. A lot of our drugs that are used for generic medicines that we get in the U.S., like half the generic medicines, are now missing because of there. Oil is an international market. The best way I can kind of compare it is gold, even though it's not gold. Thank you, Julie. I should have had my Trump hair on for that. That would have been our Lady Di moment. Thank you for that. But I don't want to compare it to gold because I don't want to make a comparison when I don't know gold markets and stuff. But it's a similar concept in the sense that gold is sold internationally, right? Like you don't have gold in America. It's not like, right? It's not like, well, it's really expensive in America and it's really cheap in Europe. It's gold. Oil works the same way. There are different oil markets. There's a number of them. The big international one is in Britain. We've got one in America, West Texas crude. There's other oil markets. There might be an Indian one. I'm trying to remember. There's like a number of them when you pull it up, like 6 or 8 of them at least. But they're interconnected. For example, the Brits and the Americans. Typically, they've been staying, like, I don't remember where it is today. The U.S. today might be at 94. The Brits might be at 104, or maybe the U.S. is up to 98. I actually had the percentage. I had the percentage down. I didn't actually have the price down. But we're within several dollars of each other, and the price of oil has almost doubled in America and Britain since he invaded. It's like stocks, but it's not like stocks because it's the same stock in essence. So the price of oil is mostly connected around the world. It goes a little bit different, but the price is almost the same. So when prices doubled in the Middle East, they doubled here. When they doubled in Britain, they doubled here. And again, you kind of have to wonder, is he bullshitting or is he crazy? Because here's the problem. We already know Trump is bored and wants to move on, right? What a better argument for somebody who's bored and wants to move on to say, yeah, they closed the Strait of Hormuz, but we don't really care because it doesn't affect us. We have our own oil. He's making bullshit excuses for pulling out, for ending the war. Except, of course, it's a bullshit excuse because he's bored and he's going to leave us with a closed Strait of Hormuz that could cause a lot of problems. Doggy, I thought you had water, didn't you? Seriously? What else we got here? Hold on. The whiner wants a little water. Let me give the whiner a little water, and then we'll come back. One moment. All right, you. More? All right. That's all. You're not getting a treat yet. Of course she did. God bless my senior dog. She whines because she wanted water, but then I went there and gave her the water, and she looked up at me. It wasn't water. She wanted a treat. Of course she wanted a treat. No, my dog is very old now, and she wants stuff, so, I've got it. Thank you, Bowie. Is that Bowie? I think it's Bowie that did that. Thank you for that. So what do? I've got to spoil her a little. That was Bowie. Thank you for that. All right. A little more here. What do we got? The average price of gasoline in the U.S., as I said, remained flat today. It's still at $3.99 a gallon. U.S. oil is up 5.5% today. British oil is up almost 6% today. The stock market dropped again today. I did hear somebody say we're in correction territory now. What else we got here? New York Times reports just a few days before Trump started bombing Iran, the Iranians put a proposal on the table in Geneva that went a long way towards resolving the nuclear issue, but Trump's negotiators didn't understand what they were being offered, and they ignored it. This was a story we had heard about before, but the Times appears to have confirmed it, that basically, Witkoff and Jared Kushner didn't understand some really good offer the Iranians gave them, so we went to war because they didn't understand the offer. Now, my suspicion is Israel really wanted to blow up Iran anyway. Oh, thank you, Courtney. Oh, and Sydney, too. Thank you, Sydney. Thank you both for the gifts there. Linda for the hearts as well. Israel, I think, wanted to blow them up, and we went in anyway. I don't think Trump cared. Trump may have very well known that Iran had a good offer on the table and just didn't care. Another justification for the war, this time from J.D. Vance. So J.D. Vance today offered some new bullshit justification for the war. And this should trouble folks, because it's not just they're lying about why we went in. If they keep changing the reason we went in, then they keep changing the reason we get out, right? the reason you go in is the reason you leave because you've addressed you've addressed the threat. If the threat keeps changing, can we ever leave? Listen to what he said today. I just want to read this to you. This is what J.D. Vance claimed was the reason we went into Iran. You talk about people who walk into a crowded supermarket and have a vest on, and they blow up the vest, and a couple of people get killed, and that's a terrible tragedy. What happens when what's on the vest is not something that can kill a couple hundred people, a couple people, but can kill many, many tens of thousands of people? He's up. Thank you, Cheryl. That's a funny gift, actually. Thank you, Cheryl. J.D. Vance today claimed that Iran was going to make nuclear suicide vests, and that's why we had to go in and invade. They got pushed on it, and like some of his staff got pushed on it and said, well, they weren't like about to make them, but someday they